What is up, everybody? Nuri here. Welcome to part one of two kind of farewell Turtle WoW videos that I'm going to make. This one will be the longest and most boring one because I'm going to go through kind of all the cool Turtle WoW stuff that I have just to be able to kind of immortalize it so I can come back and check it out. If you're not me and you're watching this, I will try to lore drop as much stuff as I can. Um, you know, maybe explain a lot of the history behind the gear. I am going to show our guild base. Not going to go just into too much detail into things, but I just kind of want to have a video to be able to look at this maybe in the future. So the first thing we're actually going to do is we're going to log out, and we are going to log on to Fornery, which you'll notice that okay, let's see, my password is this. I changed it to. That's it. Yep, there is Fornery, which Fournier, you saw the name that I typed in to log into. This was account. This was given to me uh, when I was bad about 3.5 years ago and got banned for buying an extraordinary amount of gold, all of 200, about $10 maybe worth of gold, because I was desperate and needed some consumes. So that's the first lore drop. And Fournier started out as a human male. He was the guild leader of Chosen, which was one of the NA guilds that was starting out around the same time Squad was. I was actually in the guild for a split second and then joined Squad. And Fournier and his brother Agres were good friends of ours. And they abruptly left the server. If you're watching this, either one of you, if you could tell us you're okay, that'd be great. But before they left, this rogue account was given to me just to have something to raid with. And then it became our our lockbox bot as officers for a long time. And then I started gearing uh, Fournier up a little bit. And if Fournier logged in, he'd be very surprised. This dude looks like this now, kind of like a Final Fantasy character. But I'm logging on this to kind of show, yep, Thunder Fury, which is transmogged, but uh, I didn't earn this Thunder Fury. Fournier got this in like 2 MC runs. For the longest time, when we'd log in to do lockboxes, people would make fun of us for having like not even tier 1 gear and Thunder Fury when Nax had been out for like 2 years. So, yeah. So there's that. So we're going to go to the guild base. And we're here. So I'm going to take the guild tabard off, which, by the way, let's see if I can turn this off. Just turn everything off. Doesn't matter. I'm not coming back. All right, cool. So it's funny that our tabard is a squid. We're currently squid on another server right now. Squid was always a meme within Squad where we wondered if we could change the guild name to it and then try to gaslight our members and the Turtle WoW community is at large that it had always been that. Of course, we never did. But we are squid on another server, and that's why our tabard is that. But anyway, so this is our guild base. If you are an OG guild, you have a custom guild base in Turtle WoW. And honestly, this is one of the coolest things about this server. Imagine you're running around, like the wetlands or something, and you come across this thing. If you've played vanilla or you played vanilla classic, you're like, what is this place? And, you know, a lot of times it would be this random guild base that the developers built specifically for guilds. Um, you know, when the server started blowing up around the time that Hyjal ES came out, they stopped accepting applications to put guild bases in here. And I think we were one of, if not the last people to get one, simply because Benny Lava, shout out to you, man, um, was a developer for Turtle WoW. He kind of had some differences with them, parted ways. Still an awesome dude, and he did a lot of the legwork for this base. So in Turtle WoW, a lot of the bases have, or maybe all of them, have a riding griffin, so you can actually fly in this game. I'm going to try not to glitch it out. Sometimes if you get too much in a hurry, you would glitch in place and do this for about 45 seconds and not be able to move. But it's basic swimming controls. It's not like retail. If I try to jump, that's what happens. But, you know, and here's kind of an aerial view, and this is where we are in in Faralos, up in these mountains. Super cool to be able to do that. I'm just going to park here. So, a little bit about this map. Maybe bias. I think Squad definitely had the best guild base in the game location-wise, because we could zone here and then go to Dire Mall and do jump runs, which was for a long time the best gold. Uh, you know, making option just like in vanilla, unless you knew how to solo ZG or the new KR10. We were also close enough. The mount, see, it just dismounted me. You're close enough though to Silithus. You could get past the mountains, get past, I think his name's Thunderon, Thunder Fury boss, and you're in AQ, or you're in AQ range to be able to go down there. So super, super convenient place to have a guild base. Also, I think this is one of the harder ones to get up to if you were not in Squad, if you didn't have a guild tavern. But God bless them, people did it. I think Cure from Mechatrailes was one of the first people to do it. So shout out to him. But anyway, I'm a rogue. I shouldn't die. Yeah. So, yeah, Riding Griffin, custom NPCs, blacksmith here, a donkey over there I never really looked at, a garden for survival. We had training dummies here. Go to the inside. But yeah, super fortunate to have this. The newer guilds could make a guild house, I think, at any of the home locations, so you basically had a second hearth. I'm pretty sure that's correct. I've never had to worry about that, so I don't know.
Hey there, greetings.
More custom NPCs. So this tower is the basic design of like the Mage Tower in Ajara and stuff like that. With a little bit of a surprise up here at the top.
Hey there.
So we got a little vendor.
See you around. Hello. Have a good one.
We got Leroy over here. Squad chat up there, listening to everything we're saying. We got our throne. We had a table for officer meetings that we never utilized or RP'd with. And then, of course, shout out to Watame, who did nothing wrong, by the way. Watame, one of the most infamous players on Turtle WoW, squad member, the bane of hardcore players everywhere. I think there's still people who have nightmares about him. But yeah, he was in squad. One of my good friends. But yeah, this is the guild base. As far as my rogue, I mean, this was not my original character. I did not get Thunder Fury on it. You know, not going to act like I'm going to miss it. But it was fun to get to play with Thunder Fury for years. You know, because I never played a class that could have, well, I played Rogue, but, that was not going to get Thunder Fury in my vanilla or classic guilds. I had just started getting some tier point 5 on this rogue, rating car 40 with it. Yeah, got the Biss dagger. It was a lot of fun. Rogue was been my class for forever. And my mage on this server was the first time to ever even play a caster. So I had a lot of fun with Fornery. Fournier, if you're out there, man, thank you for letting me use your character. We took good care of him. I'm sorry he looks like a Final Fantasy 14 tune now, but it is what it is. So signing off, Fornery. All right, so we're going to go back to Nuri. I'm just going to go through my gear on Nuri and talk a little bit about that. Go through my bank, do some mounts and pets, talk a little bit about them, and that's going to be it. Like I said, people are doing custom content videos as we speak on here. Come on. I had to change my password a while back during. So Turtle Well got hacked, and the an old version of the client is out there, and I've seen I think a Brazilian server that is running it right now, but the code is out there, Blizzard. There's nothing you can do about it. So we're gonna wait to zone in here. You know what? We'll go do this in one of the custom content zones. Pretty sure there's custom content. So as you can see, I am a high elf, even though I have a skin on. And I'm Alliance, as God intended it. So Turtle Wow kind of did their own lore with the game. And this was one of the things that they did. Goblins were the race for Horde to match the High Elves, but this is kind of the High Elf part of the capital city, if I'm not. Maybe it's not. Oh, yeah, there's some people. Okay, cool. All right, this is where we're going to do this. So, this is my tune. So, right off the bat, the very first thing I ever bought from the store in this game, and the reason why I stuck around Turtle Wow 5.5 years ago, because I thought it was so cool, was the skin. So this is not obviously what the high elves look like. This is a skin, um, which I have a couple of these here. Let's see, yeah, put them next to each other. This is one I just bought during a sale from the shop. Oh, it looks kind of cool, whatever. But to get to be a Dark Ranger is one of the things I've always wanted to do in this game, ever since seeing them walking around Wrath of the Lich King. I think in like Undercity, they look so cool. Not to really like play out like a Sylvanas role play or whatever. I just, something about an evil looking elf uh, is just cool. So that was the first thing. And Nuri has been a red eyed elf for a long time now. So looking at my gear, these are my stats. I'm going to exit out of it because it's a little busy. So my gear ended up not quite Biss. I am missing 2 trinkets, and I am missing the best in slot weapon. However, the best in slot weapon, which I will show you, and I have the transmog for it, which is important because where are you? I know I'm looking at it. There it is. So Kirill Narak, I think is how you say that. Death sentence. It looks like, I don't know if that always had mana per 5. But anyway, this is what it looked like. It's kind of a model of the Gorfine staff. Super cool. I think I was the first person on the server to equip it. And what I mean by that is Blossom, the Chinese guild that we went for a realm world first in Upper Kara with we were one of the the top 3, 4 guilds on this server to down Mephistроth, the final boss in Kara. And although I don't have the staff, I did win the transmog roll on it because you can transmog obviously in this game. So I equipped it and then headed off to the next person. But technically, I think I might have been the first person to have the staff, which is funny because I don't have it to be missed out. But I do have full 3.5. I have 3 sets of both of the. I have 3 pieces of both of the sets, I should say, which was a mistake. I was turning in the tokens at first, but they gutted Mage so much. I think this was actually probably one, if not the most viable setups for it. If you're a tryhard for some reason listening to this and you want to comment that I'm wrong, then totally is fine. But just a mix of Kara and Nax gear. These are all custom things. A lot of them have procs, so like these bracers have procs, and as an arcane mage, you're landing spells so much. Anything that procs off of spells is super viable. Uh, Nax wand. So True Band of Sulphurous. It is a upgraded version of the Band of Sulphurous. This was one of the gotchas that Turtle WoW put in the game, so you had to go back and do Molten Core for the 1000th time if you didn't grab a band the first time. But this was upgraded through the Black Forge and BRD. Wrath of Cenarius became this. Yeah, I think yeah, that's it. So obviously I have Atiesh. I think I was the third person in our guild to get it. Just very thankful that I was able to get it. Um, I mean, I've never played a character that could have gotten it when Nax was out. Always played a melee class, and this was probably my main goal in Turtle WoW was just to have Atiesh. I used to equip it from the Atlas loot all the time and dream about having this ugly looking pinecone bird on a stick. And what's funny is I joined everybody else in transmogging it uh, within about a month of having it. But yeah, having Atish for as long as I've had it and actually gotten to use it. Back in the day, people that got it really didn't get to use it for very long because they went into the Burning Crusade soon afterwards. But it's been a pleasure giving the 2% crit buff to parties for as long as we've had. So trinkets don't have Scythe of the Loon. I don't have, I'll just go ahead and show you the MC trinket from a custom boss in there, which they did a great job uh, making MC a little bit more interesting. Sigil of Ancient Accord was like amazing, super amazing for AoE and parsing as far as trash and stuff like that. Did not have it, couldn't get it, kept losing the roll. But I do have, you know, I've had the next trinket for a while. This is a car trinket, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop it. This trinket gave you a combat pet, which would run in and start. It would be a melee animation, I think, but he was really casting spells at people. But he's basically an aggressive hunter pet, which is kind of funny. But it gave you this buff, and watch if I switch him out, the buff is still there. So this was a pre-pop pet. Um, this is why a lot of classes were begging for like a 20-second pull timer on bosses so you could pop this out and have that for a good long while, extra 45 spell damage. As far as my other trinkets, I do want to pop this one last time. I do have a tentacle on this character. I had it on my rogue as well. I love sitting in Stormwind and making little tentacle hearts and arcs for people to stand under. Um, So we also have, this is a great AoE trinket. Of course, you know, all the knacks and AQ, threat trinkets, PvP, Mark of the Champion, yada, yada, yada. I do want to pop this one more time, though. So here is, of course, the Cthulhu Tentacle. Never had that before playing Charter WoW, much less on two characters. So super awesome. Super awesome. All right, let's pop this bad boy. So chance upon using it, it can use a random element. See what we get last time. Of course, looks like it was holy, the least interesting one. But great little trinket for raiding and AoEing and stuff like that. All right, in my bags. So uh, first thing I want to mention is that this is a lot of gold for me. I don't think I've ever had this much gold in the game. The only reason I have it, because any gold that I made, I spent on consumes immediately for raiding. Um, we did a bunch of gambling since there's nothing else to do with our gold. And for once, you know, fortune favored me, Nuri, and I won a ton of rolls and went from, I think, 500 gold to this much. So it's a pity I can't use it or transfer it to the other server we're playing on, but that's okay. Not a problem. Just a lot of resistance gear up here. And by the way, my bags never organized. The fact that I have all of my gear up top, I think, is about the most organized it's been. But a few custom Kara things in here just to switch out for various bosses and trash packs and stuff like that. This was a. Is it T-Mod? Weird. Okay, well, the animation's not coming up. Custom 1, cool little quest to get that from Kara. I accidentally got the wrong shoulder, so there's that one. Not going to go through all these because a lot of it's vanilla stuff. This was a lower raid epic you could get that I farmed for forever to try to get. But this was when my ITS was Transmog 2 for a long time. It's kind of the discount bargain bin uh, horde PvP staff to have the little kind of burning animation. Um, Pretty neat though, little ogre head on top. But we'll go back to Atiesh. Yeah, so pretty neat little staff there. They started giving out PvP weapons you could get, which was questionable. You know, a lot of people worked hard for the PvP weapons. I don't know why it's upside down, but that looks so much cooler. But yeah, I can have a martial weapon now at Lieutenant Commander. So that's a thing. But nothing special. I always tell people I'm like the worst mage at PvP. Maybe not the worst, but definitely not the best. Yeah, so that is basically my gear. Um, so we're going to do pets real quick. So in this game, you'll see I have Crazy Cat Lady title. That is from gathering the required pets in the game for cats. There was a spider one, there was a frog one. I never got those, but these are my other titles. This is basically like the Explorer achievement. This is for finishing card 40. Yeah, nothing too special here, but those are those. I'm going to go out with Crazy Cat Lady because it's apropos. So, companions. We're just going to speed run this. So, here's the chicken. Here is the black cat, part of the achievement. Here is one of the spiders. I never got all of them, but come back, little dude. Cool looking one. You know, a lot of these have always been in the game. It's a baby shark. Another cat. Okay. And if Yoland is watching this, or Moostic, for a lot of other people, this is the best pet in the game. They'll agree with me. It is a duck that you could get from a quest in the new zone north of Stormwind in that area that wasn't used. And it quacks. And guys, the quack can be heard from anybody that's standing around you. And if you had a bunch of them out, it was pretty annoying. So, pretty cool. Corrupted Kitten. It's a part of the quest. Black Tabby. This rabbit, I believe I bought from the Traveler's Base once I finally was able to fly over there. Little mini Diablo. Uh, I will say that the Traveler's Base, Wadame and I were trying to fly over there using Slow Fall and Levitate because you couldn't quite get there with just the Griffin alone. One of the coolest interactions I had with a GM was them actually appearing in the air next to me, zoning in next to me, and kind of cheering me on after asking me what I was doing, make sure we weren't trying to exploit something. But shout out to the GMs of this game. This is my favorite favorite looking pet, I should say. This is Midnight. It's a custom pet that came from Karazhan Crypts, which was a custom zone or a custom dungeon that Blizzard tried to copy in Season of Discovery, I believe, or something. It doesn't matter. They didn't have this pet, so it sucked for them. All right. Disgusting Oozling. I got in trouble for having this out in raid one time because I forgot that it did that aura. Mr. Bigglesworth, you could have in this game. Of course, the famous pet from Kel'Thuzad in Naxxramas. Here's my repair bot. Super handy to have. Okay, so this one. This one I bought from the store simply so that I could troll our raid leader into thinking I had my trinket pet out. Because, like I said, they were like a hunter pet that was on that was permanently stuck on being hostile and would run and attack stuff if you were too close to mobs. So that was money well spent to be able to get these. Plus, to have these guys following you kind of fits the mage fantasy. Petalfoot. Yeah, part of the seasonal thing. I think this might have been one of the first pets that I got. I don't remember. I think this might have been like an anniversary pet. Rizashi Hashling, another spider. Lilu, I think another anniversary pet. And then Ropaw. So if there's anything that I have on my character that is very unique, I don't believe a lot of people have Ropaw. This is an OG pet. He will tell your fortune, just like the one from Darkmoon Faire. And we're going to do one more. So this will be his last fortune. Ropaw, this is the last one that I need to know for the rest of my life. Of course. Okay. And it was the lamest one. Just kidding. This is the last one. I should have stuck with the old one. All right. Sweet. Goodbye, Ropaw. Godspeed, brother. Siamese cat. Spectral cub. So the cub used to be like 5 times larger than that. It almost looked like a mount or a hunter pet. And then they made him super tiny. So thanks a lot. Ruining my fun there. Silver tabby. Go away, Kimberly. Spider rabbit. Skitterweb hatchling. Tiny snowman I can't do because I don't have a snowball, snowfrog. So Tiny Warp Stalker, you might recognize this one from like the TBC infamous pet and mount they put in there. This is a mount that dropped in Kara 40. I actually got this mount almost a year earlier, actually exactly a year earlier during an Easter event where they had basically what were loot boxes disguised as Easter eggs, and they took it out of the game because community has too many people addicted to gambling, like myself, that would just buy a bunch of them. So shout out to Turtle Wow's integrity for taking that out. But I got one of these. Apparently, that was very rare too. I don't know a lot of people that fish one of these out of an egg, and then all of a sudden it's this mount or pet that everybody wants from the raid. I'm like, guys, I already have it. So that was kind of weird. But Tiny Warp Stalker, Snowshoe Rabbit. This may have been the one that I got from Traveler's Base. I don't know. Wally, I think another anniversary pet. Snowy Owl, White Kitten, little,
It's not ready
I don't
yet.
have a snowball. White Tiger Cub. This was a part of the Crazy Cat Lady title achievement. And he used to be bigger, and you had to farm him. He was like a 1 or 2% drop from the white, I think, saber-toothed tigers in Dunmorrow. All right, mounts. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, I have a lot of store mounts, okay? But remember, yes, I'm a whale, but I bought these spread out over like 5 years. I only have one kind of expensive mount, so it is what it is. Sorry if it's cringe. But this is obviously the ZA mount you can buy. This is the riding turtle anybody could get. I think at level 20. It's been a long time. I don't remember, but heck yeah. Okay. Black Death Charger. Not the Barren River Dare mount. Not that cool. A custom stag mount. So you can be kind of an evil Princess Mononoke. All right. This is the most expensive mount I have. I bought this on my birthday like 2 years ago, maybe. It's one of two spider mounts in the game. There was one that dropped from Kel'Thuzad that we never saw. But yes, this just, I mean, look at it. Money well spent. I rode this thing around a lot. Really cool. PvP mount. Yep. I'm going to skip this one because this is my favorite one. I want to do it last. So, Swift Dawn Saber. Speed run these. So I had a red Karaji battle tank. I also had one on my rogue. I never had the, well, I did have the red mount. I think in Vanilla Classic, but that was fun to have. Red Gang. So in Turtle WoW, instead of having chocobos, the high elves, their racial mount was a unicorn, which I think makes a little more sense. Ice Saber, the basic unicorn, slow mount. We'll do this one first. There's another unicorn, another key mount down there. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And this one, probably my second favorite mount. This is the tiger that was on the box art for the original vanilla World of Warcraft. And this is the one you've probably seen a video on where, um, there was all this like speculation about how you get this mount. It was on the box. It's got to be in the game somewhere. There's like a secret cave and Stranglethorn Vale. I remember that back in the day, and I remember, re-remembered it watching videos about it. It's a basic tiger mount, but just to be able to have this in the game was one of the things that really made me want to play it. I mean, this was they knew their customer base here. Like, this is something I always wanted to have. So it was cool to get to ride this. And then my favorite mount. This is the Stormwind Exalted mount. So once you're exalted with Stormwind, after turning in $1 billion worth of rune cloth, this is what you get. Is this stupid looking dumpy horse I just love so much. It looks so dumb and it's amazing. The horde can't help but just be completely uh, anything but intimidated seeing you coming at them in Arathi Basin with this. And a little lore behind this horse, it jumps normally now. Before it had this animation, and I petitioned in the Discord to not change it because it's my favorite part of the game. It didn't have a jump animation for years, and it would just hop up and down statically, and it looked hilarious. And it would kind of make my friend Lieutenant Bay mad. Would hop around him a lot. So that's the Stormwind horse. Thank you for getting me around mounts. And as far as the toys, I'm not going to get all these out, but there's a talent switching device. This turns you into different blue dragons. That one's kind of cool. Yeah, so see, this doesn't have a jump animation. Imagine that horse doing this. Like, oh man, peak WoW, honestly. For a bog, I think everybody had this. Colors. Ogre, super cool. You know, again, the famous ogre dance, being able to do this in raids.
This one isn't ready yet.
Great little costume. Mailbox, no man. This just gets you drunk and glows. So that's all my stuff. Click this off. There are just one or two things in my bank I'd like to throw in here, and that's gonna be it. You know, not the like most interesting or coolest video ever, but again, I just wanted to have record of all of this stuff. You know, riding around Stormwind, and I'll make my second video. I'll have my personal musings on this game. Kind of walking to my logout spot, which is weird to think about, but this game was out for nearly 8 years, and I played it for 5. It's weird to see Stormwind empty. It's weird to see, you know, I knew people that stood on these boxes, like people remember Lexi, like standing here peddling their enchants, and there was a mage that stood right here all the time and would, you know, like flex their gear, and I would always come up to them and be like, oh, you know, how am I doing compared to them? People that would stood on the fountain, people what was their name? Astrid, a rogue when I first got on that was full bis with Thunder Fury. I'm like, oh my gosh. Saw them even just up until a couple days ago, just chilling here. You know, you kind of had your spots. Blua would stand over here, would always be somebody respected for having a transmog, which, by the way, that's the transmog person down there. You know, end of an era. So I'm gonna actually the last thing I'm gonna do is talk about the guild bank, but let's look at my
What can I do
bank
for you?
first. So for some reason the bag add-on is not uh, pulling all this up, but so in here, just, you know, that's a custom helm. That's the okay. So this rubber duck, every great random once in a while, the Fountain and Stormwind would become clickable, and when you clicked it, you would receive the most random loot in the world. Which for me, on this character, was that rubber duck. On Fornery, it
Well
was
met.
an inflatable Thunder Fury. And I've told people this before, and they don't believe me. You know, it's just a useless, very unique, weird piece of loot that would come out of it that not a lot of people, I don't think, knew about. But yeah, just random pieces of gear in here. So the programmer socks is an OG thing. You take my reset. So oh yeah, tattoos, part of the game, pretty neat. Um, oh, why did I put them on? There they go. Programmer socks. were in the game for some reason. These were an item that a lot of people that had played for years back in the day had for whatever goon, whatever you were going to do with it. But yeah. Oh, put my chest back on so I'm not naked here. Do I have shoes on? I do. Okay. So yeah, as far as my bank, there's that. I don't think there's much else interesting in here. Just a few transmog things, which, by the way, I mean, again, I guess I could be counted as a turtle wow well, but as somebody who enjoys like Final Fantasy 14, having the ability to be able to T-Mog stuff, like this was a Christmas tree staff, um, having the custom tabards, custom outfits, things like that. Just something really fun to play around with for me. Yep, cool stuff. All right, last but not least, the guild tab. So, Tutterwell, we have guild banks. I was there when this was implemented. Do I have more gold than the guild bank? Well, look at that for the first time in ever. But yeah, seeing all this stuff, man, a lot of work, a lot of donations went into this. This is a lot of squads, hard work. Shout out to Wagons, our officer that was in charge of the bank. Sorry you had to put up with uh, officers who were bad at getting consumes and would take stuff out of it every once in a while. She did a great job, man. But yeah, this is the guild bank. So a little lore here. When these first came out, we were in AQ. We came over here and put some of the idols in the guild bank. I was around here looking at it because guild bank was new. Wanted to see them put it in. We put in an idol, and the number down here was, I think, like 99, like XX or asterisk, which meant we put a couple in and they turned into 10,000. I don't know the exact logistics of making it do that because I never duped anything in the guild bank. But that happened, and we found out you could duplicate things in the guild bank. And the official word from my officer friends was, let's not tell anybody about this. We're just going to fix it. We want to not get banned. Uh, let's make sure that we're not doing anything that's going to nuke the guild by getting banned. And as naive as I was, I believed them. Even when weeks later, or months later, when we were in Naxxramas, and we are getting care packages in the mail that are like stacks of frost and shadow pots and flasks. Even though we haven't gotten past the second boss or third boss, we're not getting a frost wing. I just use the pots in like PvP. I just thought that these other officers, the ones that were in charge of taking stuff out of the guild bank and giving it to people, were just really good at the economy and were super good at making gold, like way better than I'd ever be. But they were duping this whole time, and a lot of our officers got banned for it. Some of them that were doing it did not. I can say that because the world's going to end anyway. Um, but yeah, that was one of our rebuilds, that I'll talk about in the other video, was from duping in the guild bank. But this is what Squad's guild bank looks like with legitimate stuff in it at the very last. But that was really funny, especially since I got banned for that 200 gold. Meanwhile, there's people with like 20,000 gold in our guild. So, anyway, well, that is it as far as stuff that I want to immortalize. I actually tried to make this video once before. I didn't like the quality of it as far as the fidelity and everything. So this is part 1 of 2. But if you made it this far, God bless you. Um, this all of this stuff is pixels. I don't make videos trying to immortalize things like I got in God of War or PlayStation games or whatever, because those are fun, but they don't mean anything. Like Etiesh means something because Squad trusted me to give me one of the first of these staves, and then you know I have videos on my channel of getting it. These are um, not to be cliche or too whatever, but the real legendaries and gear and everything are the friends you made along the way, and Squad's the best guild I've ever been in. I am proud of all of this gear and all the stories behind it, all the raids, all the time spent together getting this stuff, which is just stuff, but it is made important by the people. If I could make a long video about all the people in Squad, um, I would do that, but I don't think I have to do that. So, anyway, this is Nuri signing off of this video. Shout out to Turtle Wild, shout out to Squad. Good luck to Blizzard trying to recreate this. They never will. But yeah, very thankful that I got to use all this and got to have fun using it. Um, Gosh, it's weird to log off, but I got to. So here we go. Thanks, everyone.